Love, love. P. Diddy, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him. That trial is taking place right now, and I don't think any of us should be surprised with some of the things that's coming out. Cassie is taking the stand right now. They did have a male stripper, I believe, last week take the stand, and we're gonna go into some of my thoughts and what I think about what's going on right now. Now, we all knew that the entertainment business since its inception, has always presented to average people some freakish, very diabolical, sexual, predatory type of, enticements. It's always been a very temptationist type of, if that's a word, temptationist. There's always been a lot of temptations in that industry. There's always been a lot of predators, I would say, and people that just took advantage of their position. So I don't think none of us should be surprised with some of the things that's coming out in this Puff Daddy trial. I do want to talk about it a little while. We're going to talk about Cassie's testimony. I think she's pregnant right now during the testimony. They don't have any cameras inside the federal court, so we're just seeing depictions and pictures. But I did see a couple of pictures of Puff Daddy look kind of distressful. He looked a little dusty to me on some of them pictures, real dusty. Now I understand what the definition of a dusty Negro is because he looked a little dusty on there. But I did hear one of the persons that was in the particular courtroom say that Puff Daddy looked at everybody in that courtroom. He made eye to eye contact with all the jurors. He made eye to eye contact with many and many, many people that's in the courtroom to a point where it was a little weird, because again, this guy, was a billionaire one time. I don't know if he still got $1 billion, but there's very few billionaires in the world. And so when you get that look like that serious glance from a billionaire, and we all know he's somewhat dangerous. He's done a lot of different violent things. He's allegedly, blown up cars, and he's allegedly beat up guys in the studio and done some real violent things and made a lot of threats allegedly to a lot of different people. So he could be dangerous. And so I would guess that would be a very chilling look for him to glance at you in the manner that he may have glanced at you being in the situation he's in. A lot of people have said that, but we're going to get into it a little more detail about this trial and my thoughts about it as soon as we come back, you guys. All right. What's up, you guys? What's going on out there in the world? In the world, so much going on today, as we say. This is EB Crypto, Eric Brent, and I want to talk about this whole Puff Daddy scenario. Now, you guys know my channel is called Follow the Money, Family Cash Machine, and I'm always talking about things in that's developing economically. I follow the money. I talk about where the money is, how you guys can get the money. And one of the reasons I'm covering this whole P. Diddy thing is because he was one of the first guys in the record industry to reach close to $1 billion. I think Sean Carter, as you guys know, Jay-Z beating to $1 billion, but he was close neck and neck at $1 billion. He ran quite a large enterprise of several different businesses. We all know him from actor, reality TV star, music mogul, rapper, producer. He wear many titles. Not to mention his liquor company and stuff like that. So this is why I found it kind of interesting to cover this. I'm going to make this clear to you guys. In no way, shape, or fashion or form do I agree with any of his egregious acts, any of the disgusting things that I've heard about him. I have I don't condone any of that type of behavior. Some of the things that I have witnessed and heard are just sinister and diabolical and just straight up nasty. But anyway, let's go into it. So Right now, they actually had one of the they had one of the what you call strippers take the stand. And this guy basically said that Cassie, which we didn't know, asked him, not Puffy, but Cassie asked him to do this spitting in the, excuse me, not spitting, but pissing, urinating in his mouth. That's just disgusting. Or no, excuse me, he urinated in her mouth. That's just disgusting. That's some of the things that came out. But it was surprising that he said that Cassie was the one who initiated that or who suggested that. Now, that's not to say that Puff Daddy wasn't the initial one to tell her what to do, because we all know he was calling the shots. But we can't negate the fact that she might have had a little freakishness in her as well too, because they was all on drugs. You know, like Rick James say, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Now, from what I understand, they was doing like ecstasy and some other drugs that might have been like more psychedelic type thing or sexual drugs. So ain't no telling what they was doing with those type of drugs in their system mixed with alcohol. So we got the understanding of the atmosphere here. You got tons and tons of money on top of drugs, on top of influence, on top of his infamy, on top of alcohol. That's just a recipe for God knows who and what was going to happen in these freak offs. And so, but I don't think Puffy is the one that invented freak offs. Freak offs wasn't invented by Puff Daddy. Freak offs been going on since Hugh Hefner. So probably even before Hugh Hefner, but he was kind of like the granddaddy of that. So I'm looking at the fact that the testimonies with Casey or Cassie, it's not really surprising. I mean, if you guys read her original complaint, well, she got, well, actually, we don't know what she got, but she suggested she wanted $30 million, and I think that was one of the quickest settlements I ever seen in the history of any kind of lawsuit. Puff Daddy settled within 24 hours. I believe his insurance companies and some of the corporate holders of shares or whatever forced him to settle because it's just bad for the brand. So he didn't have a choice. So they paid out, and then they forced him to resign from his executive CEO position because they needed to basically clean up the company, which it was already too late. Damage control came in; it's already too late. Once Cassie launched her complaint with the $30 million attached to it, with all the egregious acts and sexual perversions. Oh my God! No, I think the after that everybody was just done with Puff Daddy. Publicly, his whole demeanor and reputation and character was destroyed from that point. Now, I'm a little confused here because they're not using any minor child pornography or any child trafficking, sex trafficking of children, minors. That's not even in the case. That's not even in the charges. And this is some of the things that the media uh, pretty much lambasted him over in the media. So I don't think that was fair that they said all those things, but there's not actually any charges on that. Now, we know money is the root of all evil. Well, not the root, but the love of money is the root of all evil. So there's several different witnesses that I believe have been somewhat compromised through payolas, and they may not show up. But the whole Cassie thing, it's not no surprise. It's like, okay, domestic violence at the least. Now, I don't really agree with some of the freak offs. 36 hours. I mean, there's no way. I'm pretty. I got a lot of stamina. I'm pretty healthy. I can't even lift weights for 36 hours. I can't even sleep for 36 hours. I can't do nothing for 36 hours. There's nothing that I know I can do for 36 hours. I mean, I can't even drive for 36 hours. So how do you have sex for 36 hours? I don't know what they were doing. I'm pretty sure they were sleep, waking up, sleep, doing all kind of sexual perverted things, which I don't agree with all the sexual perversion because too much of anything is just not good. Too much sex is not good. Too much eating is not good. Too much drinking is not good. Too much drugs is not good. Too much excessive of anything is not good. We all like sex. I like sex, but it's not to a point where I want to shut the world off and lock myself in a closet for 3, 4 days having sex. I mean, that's a little bit abnormal, a lot abnormal. And then, to have these orgies, I mean, to each his own. If that's what you want to do, that's your lifestyle, you know, that's a preference. And if they're all consenting adults, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Now, my whole opinion is it's just not me. For me to be locked up in a room for 3, 4 days with all kind of different naked people, that's a little beyond my imagination. I'm not. I don't need all of that. In other words, some people have sexual perversions, and some people, if they continue to feed that perversion and feed that perversion, it can grow into a monster. And I think that's what we're looking at with a person like Shawn P. Diddy Combs. He's not the only one. There's a lot of people like him that are just so sexually perverted. They want to have you make love to their girl while they sit and jack off. To me, that's weird. That's a weirdo to the highest power, the second power, the third power, the seventh power, whatever you want to call it. That's the weirdo stuff. So this is what he was into. A lot of people are into that. Hey, if that's what you like, that's what you like. I think it's freaky. I think it's nasty. I've heard of girls that want to pee on you and they want you to pee on them. I mean, this happens in the sexual world. Different strokes for different folks. And I've even heard in Dubai that they do feces. They want to boo boo on you. So that people get all kind of freakish little things. You have that whole I don't know what it's called, but when they tie you up and handcuff you, I'm not with none of that. No handcuffs. There's nothing sexy to me about no handcuffs on me. I'm sorry. I'm a black man, so ain't that sexy about no handcuffs. I'm cool with that. You can know no handcuffs, baby girl, no handcuffs. I can do a whole lot of things without handcuffs. Trust me. But I don't want to be, in those type of arenas. But again, these things exist. So far, all I heard was some sexually perverted things that I don't agree with. I've heard some disgusting things that I don't agree with. And I've seen on those videos some domestic violence, which at the most I see him, guilty of is sexual, is violence, is domestic violence. But if he forced somebody to have sex with him, that's a crime. If he have did any kind of drugging of somebody, these are crimes. Now when they get to that, then I agree with some long sentences. But so far I'm not hearing anything that really would allow him to get all this time. I'm not seeing anything that really and proves that he should get all his time. Now, of course, he's a freak. Of course, he's done some disgusting things. I didn't like the domestic violence of Casey. I didn't like him hitting on her. I didn't like some of the alleged things I'm hearing about him forcing other guys to have sex with him. But if these guys wanted to be successful and PDD is sitting back like, oh, are you ambitious? How ambitious are you? And they go for that, and they are two consenting adults and allow another man to take your manhood. That's on y'all. That's not a crime. Although he's taking advantage of his position, and although you're letting him take advantage of you, there's no crime in that. You just went out like a sucker. It's not always required in the record industry or the music industry or the movie industry for you to compromise who you are. And in my mindset, I feel like Terrence Howard. Once you compromise and negotiate your manhood card, it ain't no getting that back, bro. It's a wrap. You can't cross that line and then try to go back. I don't believe in that. I think once you cross that line, that's the point of no return, and that's your decision. And if he was using his position as a temptation under the auspices of you're going to be successful, then I think that's a misuse of your position. I don't agree with that. But again, there's no law against that. If you're forcing people, physically forcing people with your bodyguards or drugging people, that's where I draw the line at. That's what I'm waiting for to hear. I'm waiting to hear those cases. But so far, the whole Cassie thing was not a surprise to us. We all knew this stuff. We all read, a lot of us read that paper or heard the paper on the internet being read. We know some of the freakish things that was going on there. All I can say now really is he was a super, super freak, like Rick James said, super freak, He's super freaky. Yeah, that's all I see. But like I said, crime wise, domestic violence at the most so far, unless they got other evidence. Then again, like I said, we don't really know what was in them baby oil lotions. If they find chemicals in that, then he's got a real problem. But so far, for Puff Daddy, I don't really see nothing that really justified Homeland Security raiding that man's house because they didn't do that to um, you know, they didn't do that to the other guys who were allegedly having these parties like Hugh Hefner. I didn't see Hugh Hefner being lambasted all over the news, and we all know there were freak parties going on there. We all know there were freak parties at Liberace's. We all know there was freak parties at Little Richard's. We all know this for a fact. There were freak parties with Elton John. For a fact, there were freak parties with probably Rod Stewart. These guys are freaks. I'm telling you. So all the different testimonies have came out now about these different individuals allegedly. I got to keep saying allegedly because I wasn't there, you wasn't there, but a lot of these individuals in Hollywood we know have had freak parties, shows, phew, whatever you want to do was available. Drugs, sex, booze. It's been that way in Hollywood for years. But again, I don't know if Puff Daddy guilty or not. I'm not the jury. I don't approve of some of the freakishness and pervertedness and disgusting acts of just sinister behavior and freakishness. It's Babylon to me. It's Babylon. It's Babylon. And it is what it is. So, I love making love to a woman. I love the act of love making. It's more to me spiritual than it is something that's just a sport. And some of these guys now, it's just a sport to them. Some of these women, it's just a sport to them. Me, I got to have some kind of connection with you. I don't care how pretty you are. I need to have some kind of connection. I'm more of a spiritual type of guy. That's just me. And the spiritual connection and the platonic connection and the whole relationship makes the sex even better for me. That's just me. Everybody's not like me. Some guys like to bang, bang, bang and keep going, bang, bang, bang to the next, five, six girls at a time. I've never been cut like that. Thank God. That's just not me. So we'll see at the end of the day what's going to happen. I feel so sorry for the wife. I mean, excuse me, the husband of Cassie. While she's pregnant, he's got to sit here and listen to all this crap. I mean, it's got to make things a little awkward for them when they get home to talk about all the things that she was subjected to. But remember, though, she was a young girl. Cassie was like 19 or something, 18 when he met her. She was very, very easily to be influenced, especially of a guy of his stature. Puff Daddy. This is Bad Boy Records. This is Puff Daddy. And she's 19. She's, very easily to be influenced by this guy who has hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not excusing her, but I'm just saying it's easy for a 19-year-old girl to be influenced by a powerful mogul like him. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out, you guys. Again, we have our own one-on-one courses that we're promoting right now. There's only a room for a few people that I'm going to show you guys all the ins and outs of how to make money in the cryptocurrency industry long term, not this quick come up immediate gratification. Most of those are scams. I have several different modules of what I'm going to show you guys how real investors are making real money in the cryptocurrency, and it's been over 100,000% appreciations in the last 10 years. And some of the things I'm going to show you guys, the numbers are the numbers. I can even show you guys the people that's making money. Well, not the people, but the wallets. I'll show you guys 6 or 7 different protocols on how you can start putting a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't need to be a multimillionaire to make money when you know what you're doing. But I'm going to train you guys how to stay away from the scams and train you guys how to position yourself in what I'm calling this blockchain industry, which is one of the greatest exchanges of wealth in history ever in economics because of disruptions. So if you guys want to learn, click the link underneath. I'm going to show you guys and teach you guys one-on-one. I'm only going to take 4 or 5 students in this particular thing. Now, we do have some cryptocurrency trading classes, Forex classes. We have some S&P 500 classes. That's different. I'm going to be taking about 10 students there right now. Eventually, we'll be having courses up, but we do have some courses that we're going to give you guys, and we're going to study with you guys those particular courses. And we're going to study as a group, and it's beginner courses all the way up to advanced courses. And you're going to be working with me and several other instructors that are making real money in this. These are not people who are just teaching. These are people who are making money, making real money, and they're in the top 5% traders in the world. So if you don't want to learn trading, if you just want to learn how to put your money in safe places that will appreciate over time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 4 years. If you're one of those persons that don't have a 401k, you've been an entrepreneur all your life, you don't have like a retirement, and you want to put your money in something in the next 5, 10 years that your children will be able to basically leave you like with generational wealth. These things can grow into generational wealth. If you want to learn those things, contact me. I'm available to do these one-on-ones with you guys so you can start really benefiting from this huge exchange of wealth that's happening right now in the world. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out, you guys. Deuces.
Cassie.